Thank y'all for tuning in to part 1 of The Alchemist discussion.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, thank you for being here, my love. And I decided for my husband and I to go on this journey of reading The Alchemist together. This is my husband.
What's good? I'm famous already, if y'all don't already know. But it's not about me. It's about us together.
Yes. We wanted to do a couples series for The Alchemist. So we will be reading each part. We've been reading them separately, and then we're coming together to discuss. So y'all are just a part of the discussion, and if y'all want to join in, you are welcome to do so.
For sure.
So let's just jump right into it.
Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, to like the video, and turn your notifications on for when the wifey drop new videos.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so I wrote down some questions. And if y'all hear our kids, this is just real life.
Facts.
Okay?
We human, they human. It is what it is. God is good at the end of the day.
Yeah, so just bear with us all. Okay.
Judge and don't be judged. Judge and don't judge.
Period. Okay, so as we're about to get into it, I just wanted to know, what were your expectations before starting this book?
I didn't really have a lot of expectations. She came home from Chicago, had, I guess, a lot of time to self-reflect, and she was like, I guess you met an older guy that you talked to, and you was asking him about the books and stuff he was reading.
Yeah.
And The Alchemist is one of the books that came up, and you was like, baby, you should definitely read this. I think you'll enjoy it, because I'm more of a self-motivation, self-help book type of guy. I'm not really into the stuff that my wife likes with the smuttiness and all that.
I'm very diverse.
Okay, she's very diverse, but I don't really get into that. Now, Coldest Winter Ever, that is one that I read and enjoyed, but I'm more of a self-help guy. So she was like, I think you'll really love this, because not only is it a self-help book, but it actually has a story tied to it. There's a story being told in this book. So I guess I kind of had high expectations, because I do love a good story, but I also love self-help and being able to learn something that could help me in my life when reading different books.
Okay. I attempted to read this book before, but I just don't think I was in the right place and space and mind to actually process what I was reading, or really be okay, I can apply this to my life. Because as he's going through the hard copy book, he said that I had some stuff highlighted, some notes and stuff.
She got a little sticky note in here and some highlights. And it's funny, because one of the things that she highlighted in here is the thing that I noticed that came up the most in part 1, which I love.
Yeah, but now reading it and stuff, I'm like, oh my God, this is such a good book. I can't stop.
Yes.
But I wasn't thinking like that before. So I think also books come to you when they're supposed to come to you. So I'm just glad this book came back into my life. Okay. After part 1, are you hooked?
I am definitely hooked. I've already started reading part 2. I'm definitely hooked. Again, the story is just, this is a lot more different than a lot of the self-help books I read, because there is an actual story connected to it. And that's what has gotten me hooked, is that there's a story, but there's also so many life lessons.
Yeah. And what was your first impression of Santiago, and could you relate to him in any way?
And Santiago was the shepherd, correct? Mm-hmm. I would say I had a pretty good first impression of Santiago. I like the fact that even though his parents were trying to tell him this is what he needed to do, he decided, no, that's not what I want to do. I want to be a shepherd. I want to travel. And he didn't let his parents' decision for his life determine the life that he wanted. Right. But it's also cool that his dad, I think, ended up supporting him. It's all right, well, that's what you're going to do. Make sure you do your thing. So I like Santiago mindset, I guess. I don't know how old he was or anything, but he took advice. That's one thing I noticed about reading about him in part 1. He took things, and he didn't just throw them by the wayside. When he met the king and all of that, you could tell he was actually listening to the king and taking his advice, because as you go on into part 1 and kind of into part 2, he keeps bringing up all of the things that he had been learning from the king.
Right.
Yeah. So I like Santiago had a pretty good a good mindset. I like that.
And even, I think it was funny that with the dad, he was like, yeah, I'm supporting you, but you'll see. You're going to come back and be like, okay, Dad, you were right.
Yeah, and Dad was not right at all. My boy got up out of there, that boy jumped off the porch and went with it.
Yes.
And I like that about Santiago. Because that's what it takes to be successful in life. I mean, sometimes the people that's closest to you are going to be the people who probably going to doubt your dreams and goals, but hey, you can't let that hold you back.
Exactly. Okay, facts. Okay. Have you ever had a dream that changed the direction of your life? And not necessarily, it doesn't have to be a literal dream like I was asleep and had a dream, but like a dream that changed.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like I've had a bunch of those. Like, I'm a visionary. I spend a lot of time, especially like in the mornings or before bed, just visioning the life that I want, visioning what I want my bank account to look like, how I want to be as a husband, how I want to be as a father, as a businessman. So I feel like for me, being a visionary, I have a lot. I use this, what I call a gift from God, to be able to see things before they ever even happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, I vision a lot.
Yeah.
I'm always visioning.
That's true.
What about you?
I feel like when I was younger, I used to dream a lot more than I started dreaming when I was an adult. And I mean that in a literal sense. Like the dreams that I used to literally have, I was like, okay, that can be my life or all of that. Yeah. But now, I feel like my dreams aren't as vivid as they used to be. And I think a big part of that plays a role to all of the influences that I've had over time. But that's not to say that I'm not getting back to that space of like dreaming or visioning what I want for my life or for my family or for myself. For sure. Because I definitely, like now, what I see a few years ago, that wasn't what I was.
And wasn't there a part in the book that spoke about that? Like how as a child, you have these visions, like you're kind of fearless, like there's not a lot of things that can deter you from what you're trying to accomplish. But as you go on and grow, society paints certain pictures and you're taught certain things, which shifts your mindset, which kind of keeps you from vision in the way that God intended for you to vision.
Right. Yeah. Honestly, that's what I feel like society is, their role in your life. Like, I think if we as people just focus on ourselves and what our personal legend is and just achieving that in our life, I feel like we would see a lot more people being true and authentic to who they are. Yeah. Versus, oh, this person's doing that, or like, oh, I'm afraid that I'm going to be judged. You know? Did that make sense?
Yeah, and that brings me to, I have a question, because Santiago, right? Mm-hmm. He always saw himself as a shepherd, but then once he got introduced to the king and all that or whatever, it's like his purpose or his personal legend changed. Yeah. Because he saw himself as becoming this huge shepherd. You know what I'm saying? He loved what he do, but then he meets somebody that kind of changes his whole perspective. So how do you feel like for people who have this vision for their life, but then there comes a point in that vision or in their life where they almost have to pivot? Like in my case, I was into design at first, and then I got into clothing brands, and then I got into gaming eventually. But like, how do you see that for people who are like, okay, I see myself doing this, but then they come to that place in the road where it's like, dang, it's almost like, should I take a pivot? Do you understand? I don't really know what question I'm trying to ask, but like,
I feel like Santiago and you taking those pivots, it's not like I'm changing the whole trajectory of every single thing that I was ever doing, because you got to think all the stuff that you were doing is still playing an active role in what you're doing and going after now. And even for Santiago, he kept mentioning like, oh, all of these people are like sheep, or all of the lessons and things that he gained as a shepherd. He's still applying that to his life now. So I think we have to change, we're pivoting our whole life or our whole career and all that stuff to, I'm just taking everything that I gained and learned over all those years and just applying it in a different way now.
That's a beautiful answer. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense, because he did, especially after he got robbed. After my boy got robbed, he had to kind of revert back to what he naturally knew. And you was talking about the sheep, and what he was saying that he learned from the sheep was that even though they didn't speak the same language, he learned how to communicate with them.
Exactly.
And now that he was in a foreign place where he didn't understand the language, he had to adjust and figure out how to speak in their language.
Exactly.
Which eventually led him to the crystal shop and all of that, and meeting the Arab crystal guy.
First question is about quotes.
Yes.
Any quotes that have really stood out to you or that have stayed with you in part one?
I don't know if y'all just saw, but I literally just flipped open the book and it went right to the quote that I wanted to talk about. And it's funny because this is the same quote that my wife actually put on this sticky note that was already in this book. And this quote continues to show up. And my favorite quote of this book is, when you really want something, the universe always conspires in your favor. And what that means to me is like, basically exactly what it says. Like, to me, I take it literal because I want to become a successful gaming creator. I want to become a successful coach of gaming creators. I want to build a multi-million-dollar business. I want to be a great father. I want to be a great husband. And it's like day by day, I see consistently over and over again, because I want this so much. I vision it so much. The universe does things to make sure that I get closer and closer to those.
Yes.
And like, I think about like, because people are like, dang, like, for y'all who don't know me, I'm a gamer and I be playing famous people and stuff like that. But people are always like, how do you be actually getting these people to play against you? And it's funny because I don't reach out to none of them. They all contact me. And this quote shows me that it's the universe working in my favor, because I even told my wife this when I first got into this. Like, I can see myself one day playing against famous people. I can see myself coaching and teaching people how to do this same thing. And lo and behold, out of nowhere, I actually end up getting my first ever client. I'm talking about out of nowhere, just hit me up like, hey, bro, I want to get into I want to do what you're doing as a streamer and stuff. Like, I'll pay you to teach me. And it's like, this quote is literally a reminder. And again, this sticky note that my wife put in here that is from years ago. When you want something, all the universe conspires to help you achieve it. So if anybody that's watching this video, if you truly want something and desire something, there are going to be bumps and bruises in the road, but I promise you the universe, God, will work to make sure the things that you need necessary to help you get to that vision is going to happen for you.
That was so beautiful.
That's definitely my favorite quote. And I guess before I let you go out, I'm trying to think about where in this book, he took him in his pouch and showed it to the young man. The owner of the bar came over. Down the screen, oh man, what's that? Okay, I was just thinking about Santiago and his situation and why that quote was so important to him.
Yeah.
And I guess for him, he got to a point where he truly did want that treasure.
Yeah.
And he was willing to do whatever he had to do. And even though he went through all those crazy things, the universe still conspired to work in his favor.
Right.
He ends up getting robbed, even though that the universe worked in his favor in a sucky way, but it also kind of helped him because he ended up getting robbed. All the money he had sold his sheep for, and he ended up taking and going to Africa or whatever. He ends up getting robbed. But then as he's going in his pockets, his 2 stones fall out from the king, which reminded him of like, no, like, I'm still here with you.
Right.
And then it was a hole in the pocket or whatever. And he never sold it back up. And that was his sign from the universe, like, no, you got to answer some of these questions on your own.
Yeah.
And ultimately, all of that ended up leading him to the shop.
Right.
That was the crystal shop that he ended up coming by and telling the guy, like, look, I'm going to clean for you.
For lunch.
For lunch. Yes, like, bro went up there to clean for lunch. Like, and ends up getting the job. And then the universe, again, conspires in his favor again. Him noticing, like, somebody walking to the top of the hill and being tired. He's like, oh my God, we can sell tea out of these.
Yes.
Like, it's just those simple things and those moments where the universe literally just works in your favor. And if you're paying attention to the signs and omens, which is something that's spoke about a lot in this book, that if you believe in those things and believe that the universe is working with you and you truly want something bad enough, it's all going to conspire in your favor.
Yes, and I think another big part of this story that we are not realizing is that this did not just happen overnight. Yeah. Like, he literally is saying, like, I've been here for over a year now.
Yeah,
like, and I'm like, okay, what do I really want? So I think we have to remember that this is not just an overnight process. Like, the things that you have to go through in life, the universe conspiring with you and pushing you towards what you want, like, all of that stuff, as quickly as we want it to happen.
Yes.
it's not going to happen. I mean, hey, I'm not going to say it's not going to happen that quickly, because for some people it does. But realistically, you have to go through things to become the person that you have to be to receive all the things that the universe is conspiring with you for.
For sure. And everything that the universe conspires is not going to look beautiful and pretty and wrapped in a bow. There are things that the universe is going to conspire that puts you through certain situations to help build your character, to help build you internally.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
just wanted to make sure I say that so that people don't think that it's always going to be a perfect sign.
Right, because trust me, we've been through it.
For sure.
Not us in our marriage, but like as individuals.
But I mean, we've had moments in our marriage too, though.
Yeah.
Not moments that like we cheating on each other, nothing like that, but just moments that make us pay attention more.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because no marriage is perfect.
Exactly.
But
we're perfect for each other.
Yes.
That's all that really matters.
But just in life, like, it's certain things that I'm just like, oh my God, like, there's no way I'm supposed to be here going through this. But then, I mean, hey, it's all for a bigger purpose.
Thanks.
Okay. And then, no, I'm not going to talk about my quote because I feel like you did a amazing job.
Okay. I'm a guesser anyway, so yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the last thing that I wanted to bring up was what lesson or story stood out to you most that you may recall from part one. And I know that we were talking about this yesterday, but it was the oil story.
Yes. Oh my God. That is definitely the story that stood out the most.
Yes. Do you want to summarize it, or would you like for me to?
So
okay.
There was basically a father who told and sent his son to a guy who was considered one of the wisest men in the world at that time. He sent him there. The kid waits hours to meet him. He finally meets the guy. He says, "Hey, I want you to take this teaspoon of oil, basically on a spoon, walk around my palace or whatever, and do not spill the oil." So the kid.
But I want you to come back and tell me about everything.
Yeah. So the kid walks around with the oil. He makes it all the way back through the whole palace or whatever, with the oil still on the spoon. The wise guy said, "Okay, did you notice all of the immaculate things around the palace? Like, did you see the curtains and the art and all of these beautiful things?" And the kid responded, "No, I didn't, because all the kid focus was put on not spilling the oil." So the guy said, "Okay, now go back out. Now this time, marvel at everything, look at everything, be intrigued by everything, see all the beauty in the sky. Like, just look around the palace and see all the beauty." So the kid, he goes and he does that. He comes back with the spoon, not even realizing the spoon is now empty. And the guy says, "Hey, the wise man says, where's the oil, kid? Like, what happened to the oil?" And he's like, "Oh, I didn't pay attention because I was viewing everything around the palace." And then the wise man told him, dang, where's that quote? I really want to find that quote and make sure that I'm reading it the right way. The secret, yes. It said the secret. So it said, okay, well, there's only one piece of advice I can give you, said the wisest of the wise men. The secret of happiness is to see all the marvels of the world and never to forget the drops of oil on the spoon. And for me, that stood out because it's like, you kind of got to do both as we live in this world, because you only get one life. Like, you got to put in the hard work, put in the time and effort, focus on the small things, but also make sure you're making time to enjoy time with your wife, with your children, to enjoy moments of traveling the world, to enjoy the moments of all the hard work that you're putting in and the money that you're earning from it, that you actually enjoyed yourself and buy things you want and stuff like that. So, like, don't be so focused on one or the other that you neglect the other, and trying to find that balance. And I know in life it's challenging to find balance, but there has to be a time, and it's something I had to teach myself, like, bro, there's time to work, which is the oil, and focusing on those things. But there's also time that I must marvel at the world and be present in my wife's life, in my children's life, in my friends' life, and do things that I actually enjoy, and not be so focused on spilling the oil that I end up being an old man and not being able to experience all the marvels of the world, or being so focused on all the marvels of the world that I don't actually put in the work to give me and my family a better life. So yes, that definitely was a great lesson, and I truly enjoyed that.
Yes, thank you for sharing all of that.
Welcome. You're welcome. This is a great book.
It is. So if you have any insight, any quotes, any stories, any lessons that you really enjoyed from the things that we said, or even if you read the book and you're like, oh my God, this part from part one was my favorite, please drop it in the comments so we can just converse about it. Like, this is an open discussion.
Gang, gang. And only about part 1. Do not go into part 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, how many parts it is, and spill the beans, because I haven't gotten that far. She haven't gotten that far. We don't 100% know.
Yes. We will see you. He will be my guest again for part 2. So we will see you guys next time. Thank y'all for tuning in to Mariah Be Reading. We will catch y'all later.